People have been asking me to look at this. Apparently this is like the best Charlie Kirk debate in a while.
Many immigrants are being persecuted right now, including Kilmar Abrego Garcia.
They focus on the deportation of Garcia. Is he MS13?
No, he's not.
He has his mind made up.
They're purely basing that on the fact that he had tattoos and the fact that he had 8 men in his car that were going to a construction site.
I mean, Charlie was ready for this. He's got a photo of the tattoos. He's got all the charges written down.
What are these tattoos exactly?
Uh-huh.
Is that not an MS13 gang tattoo? What is that? That's marijuana M, smiley face S, cross 1, skull 3.
Okay.
That's MS13.
It is a strange pattern. That alone would not be evidence, but it is not nothing.
Number 2, what jersey did Kilmar Garcia wear on a routine basis, and what was the significance of it in the Maryland jurisdiction of gang territory?
He wore a Michael Jordan Bulls jersey.
Yes, and what is the significance? What gang wears Michael Jordan Chicago Bulls jerseys in the Maryland proper area?
That is what we would call a clue.
White fence, and the Crips of this area wear Dodgers jerseys. So do you think that I would be affiliated with white fence in
hold on
East
a second.
LA
It's called a
no, you can't.
It's accumulation of facts.
You would not be able to arrest someone for that tattoo alone. You would not be able to arrest someone for wearing that jersey alone. You would be able to arrest them for entering the country illegally, so we should keep that in mind.
Allow me to finish.
Look at these people. Look at these people that are wearing MAGA hats right now.
Allow me to finish.
Could I say that they're part of a big gang?
Allow me to finish.
Could I say that they're part of a big gang?
If a gang like the Bloods were to start wearing red hats with Make America Blood Again, then you could say, yes, that would be a clue.
You have the hand tattoos. You have the fact that he told the judge in 2019, I'm afraid to go back to El Salvador because another gang will come after me. Allow me to finish without interrupting. Number 3, he wore the Chicago Bulls, which is a gang affiliation in the Maryland area. Now, if you're in LA wearing a Dodgers jersey, that's one piece of evidence.
This is what happens when Charlie Kirk goes detective mode.
If you're wearing Bulls gear day after day in the Maryland area, and you have MS-13 affiliated things, and you're telling a judge that you're part of a gang, and your wife has filed declaratory distress relief because you're a wife beater, and then finally the fact he's not an American, he broke into this country, and he does not afford the same rights that Americans are.
I'm sorry, but to sort of put that on you, right? He had a green card. He
did not. That is not correct.
Interesting. So yeah, that is just objectively not true.
Wrong. That's not true.
Was he married? Was he married?
No.
Was he married to an American citizen?
Does not matter. Time out. The judge. See that you got your facts so wrong.
If you illegally come into America, how do you get married legally?
The judge said, "Sir, Mr. Garcia, you will be deported at any time for any reason back to any country. The only country I'm not allowing you to go be deported to was El Salvador."
And why was he deported to El Salvador?
That's the only mistake.
Why was he deported to El Salvador?
Because he was caught up. Time out. It's not that he was deported that it was wrong. It's not that he wasn't part of MS-13.
Well, the fact that he was deported was wrong because he didn't have any due process.
I don't think it means what most people think it means when they're throwing this term around. So looking it up, due process, a requirement that legal matters be resolved according to established rules evenly.
No, he had the most due process of any illegal in the history of the country.
Obviously, that's an overstatement, but
it's actually incorrect. He's going through it right now while he's in El Salvador.
Hold on.
In their minds, they're picturing, well, you get to appear before a judge and a jury, and that's what due process means. Not necessarily.
He's going through it right now while he's in El Salvador.
In 2020, he had due process. The judge literally signed an order saying, at any time ICE can come and get you. This is your final warning, Mr. Garcia.
You could say that, well, illegal immigrants have broken a law, so they could be deported, and that should be applied evenly.
I just find it so interesting. You do know the fact he beat his wife, right?
Okay, you do know the fact that Donald Trump has raped multiple women and his wife. Okay, yeah.
What are you basing that on? Well, because Trump was held liable for sexual assault. Libel and sexual assault are two different things.
He's a rapist. He raped his wife and multiple women.
Oh, he raped his wife, really?
And he's on record.
Which wife did he rape exactly?
Ivana.
Oh, he raped Ivana.
I do believe so, yes.
Okay, what are you basing that on?
Oh, and what's your evidence for such a claim? Because I have evidence of court documents that Kilmar Garcia beat his wife. Want me to read it? In 2021, Abrego Garcia's wife, Jennifer Vasquez-Sura, filed a protective order against him, alleging instances of physical abuse, including being punched repeatedly and scratched. She then filed a second order trying to protect the children from him abusing them on a nearly weekly basis.
It seems like he could have been deported just for that. That was probably a number of years ago under a different presidency, different policy, different due process.
In 2019, Abrego Garcia was arrested in Maryland alongside other individuals. Authorities claimed repeatedly that were experts saying that the traits of his behavior, his iconography, and his tattoos were MS-13, such as specific clothing and tattoos, citing information from a confidential informant alleging from his gang membership. The judge agreed and signed his deportation order.
So this guy even did appear in front of a judge.
What is the issue here exactly?
Has he specifically stated that his tattoos were... That's ironic when... Okay. Has he specifically stated that his tattoos were an affiliation of MS13, or is that being a narrative being controlled by the Trump administration?
Why would he specifically state, yes, these are, this means MS13?
MS13. Because weed, smiley face, and skull, how are the skull and crossbones and the cross going to be thought of as 1-3?
Well, that's an interesting question. If it wasn't
Stay
MS13...
stay high, smile till I die.
MS-13,
stay high, smile till I die.
If it wasn't MS-13, why did his girlfriend blur out the tattoos on his hand in the recent images they posted together?
Maybe that she thought the tattoos might look incriminating because make him look more criminal, something like that. But there's really no way out of this one, I think. And he even admits it.
If there's nothing to hide, why wouldn't she show it for the world?
I mean, yeah, you're actually, that was a good point.
And we could file that under another clue.
I want to...
There's nothing to hide. She'd say, hey, here's the tattoos that she's blurring them out in all the images. That's kind of weird, isn't it? Nothing to hide, let it ride.
ICE has repeatedly persecuted Mexican Americans and or just Latino Americans for having tattoos and dark skin. How can we prevent people from being... That's actually not a lie. That's actually not a lie.
What is your evidence for this?
Multiple articles and multiple
articles
and multiple newsletters that have, multiple news broadcasts that have let us know that ICE is racially profiling people.
Do you think there are people that have crossed the Mexican border illegally? They're probably going to be of a different skin tone. Does that indicate racial profiling?
This is all targeted at illegals that have broken into our country. These are people that have broke into the United States
of
America.
And what makes them inherently bad? Because there's multiple people that overstays their visas.
No one is saying that they are inherently evil.
It does not matter your intention. Hold on,
everybody's bringing up murders. Everybody's bringing up rapists.
There's a lot wrong here.
But what's wrong with that is, when rape is committed by men, 51% of all rape is committed by white men. White men.
That would still be underrepresentative of the percentage of the population that's white. So, what's your point?
What should the penalty be if someone breaks into America?
I'm sorry,
what should the penalty be when someone breaks into the United States of America?
Personally, I think we should help them get processed into the country.
What is that going to do logically? It's going to incentivize people to come over illegally.
The country should become home.
Oh, so wait, hold on. I want to understand. Do you invite random people into your home and be like, hey, you could just squat on my floor and eat my food?
Hey guys, so that's how you make friends, actually. So when you
I mean, this guy's just, he has something that he really wants to be true, and it's making him look silly here.
Again, you're talking very fast and not making a lot of sense, so let's try to slow it down, okay? The final moral question.
Okay.
If I went into Mexico without proper documents or invitation, what happens to me?
People do it all the time.
What happens to me?
People do it all the time.
What happens to me?
Are you saying if you get caught? Are you saying...
Yeah, if I get caught, what would the Mexican government do to me?
I guess deport you.
We should do the same.
Even if you don't like how it makes you feel, and I can understand the pushback, but if we are going to look at this objectively, and all of this might seem cold, but at the end of the day, this is, by definition, due process, taking a process and applying it evenly.